Hey guys, welcome back. Turbitu here today. We're taking a look today at the new Ghost of Tsushima Legends announcement that was announced yesterday. This is something that I never saw coming, was not expecting at all, and am extremely excited about now that it exists. This is a free co-op multiplayer mode that was announced for Ghost of Tsushima, and there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, and there's a trailer that's out now that you can look up if you would like as well. It'll be in the description. Today we're going to talk about everything we know about it. I'm going to try and go through it in a decent pace here and just explain everything we know and when we expect it to drop and what is in store for players of Tsushima. I've been a huge fan of Tsushima since it was announced many years ago. I love Sucker Punch very much. I've loved all their titles ever since Sly Cooper. And I was very much looking forward to Tsushima. I just got the platinum yesterday, and I was itching for more content, as I think a lot of people were. Tsushima has been an incredible game, far above expectations, and now they have more coming, and it is announced to be coming in the fall. Now, as far as when fall starts in the Northern Hemisphere, that would be anytime after the 22nd of September, but I would probably expect it somewhere mid-October, because if you wait any longer than that, you're going to be right around when the PS5 drops, and it would make more sense if you're going to put effort into this to have it close out the very end of the PS4 life cycle. Of course, this will still be playable on the PS5 once it is out, but I would expect it to be still on the 4 before the 5 comes out, because the 5 will sort of overshadow it, if that makes sense. So expect mid-October, but of course this isn't confirmed, it's just fall is all they've said. So anywhere between the end of September all the way to, the beginning of December. But what the mode is a separate mode, completely separate of Tsushima, the base game. You do not play as Jin or any of the characters from the main campaign. There will be no familiar faces. Instead, it is based on 4 warriors who've been built up as legends in stories told by people of Tsushima. The campaign focuses on the open world, but Legends is said to be more haunting and fantastical, with locations and enemies inspired by Japanese folktales and mythology, with an emphasis on cooperative combat and action. So you're looking more here, less towards the realism-y, human-on-human combat that we saw with the campaign, and more towards folktale, legends. There's a good chance we would see more enemies akin to games like Sekiro or Nioh, sort of these mythical beasts, as well as, they've said, supernatural-powered enemies that you might recognize from the campaign. In the trailer, there's a brute that seems to have some sort of mythical weapon. So it's definitely not what I expected it was when it was announced, which I was thinking, oh, it's going to be, me and 3 friends fighting waves of enemies, just like Tsushima normal gameplay, but just with 4 people, 2 to 4 people. But it is actually much more than that. So the haunting and fantastical part here, where it says it's inspired by folktale and mythology, means they're definitely reaching, outside of the box, making something really fresh here. On top of that, it's playable with 2 to 4 players, so it is required to have at least 2 players to play, but you can do it from anywhere from 2 to 4, and there are 4 unique classes that they've went over. So these are the Samurai, Hunter, Ronin, and Assassin. So if you play in a group of 4, each of you will have to be one of these classes, and they say each class has unique advantages and abilities that they'll reveal in the future. Now, they've said with 2 players, you can play a series of co-op story missions that escalate in difficulty and build on the foundation of combat from the single-player campaign, but with new magical twists that often require careful synchronization with your partner. So some sort of mythical power-up kind of thing here that you can do in synchronization with your partner. Not only is it 2 to 4 player co-op, but there's 2-player story missions, and then with 4 players, it says you'll be able to take on wave-based survival missions. So this is more what people probably were expecting as, the only thing, but instead it's as well as a survival type thing with 4 of you who fight new enemies, including new Oni enemies with supernatural abilities. If you can best the story and survival missions, you may be competent enough to take on the 4-player raid that will arrive shortly after the launch of Tsushima Legends, sending you and your partners to an entirely new realm to challenge a brutal, terrifying enemy. This has to be the most interesting part of the whole thing. They say shortly after Legends itself releases, they're going to be dropping a raid, which will require all 4 players, I imagine, to go fight some huge raid boss enemy. So, think like Destiny, some massive mythical beast with all 4 of you. And I am extremely interested in what that could be. And if you're worried about trying to get 2 to 4 players together to play this at one time, they have confirmed there is matchmaking online. So you do not need to always have all your friends online, or some of your friends don't have Tsushima, you can always fill that 4 slot with a random matchmake player. Just as a quick summary here at the end, 2 to 4 players, 4 class with unique advantages, story and survival missions, more haunting and fantastical, and it is a completely separate mode from Ghost of Tsushima that is coming out completely free for all players who own Tsushima. They're not charging anything for this, even though it's basically an entire standalone game. And I've never really seen something like this happen with a console exclusive, or really any huge AAA game like this, where you have a set, especially PlayStation ones, where you have a set story narrative, you know, think like Uncharted, Last of Us, God of War, Horizon, on, Spider-Man. I've never seen them take this super focused single player experience and then just drop a multiplayer that seems to be a fully fleshed out multiplayer experience. Of course, Uncharted and the original Last of Us had multiplayer, but they were just sort of deathmatchy on the side. But this, you know, takes an entire focused single player game, and now they're adding more for free for everyone on top of that. And really at this point, Tsushima, it has something for everyone. I mean, you can play the campaign, and the main game is incredible. It was already one of, if not the best games of the year, and now to add on top of it multiplayer and co-op, and you know, you add in friends on something like this, and it just adds to the fun no matter what. Of course, they did say pre-launch on Last of Us 2 that they were thinking about making a standalone multiplayer in the Last of Us 2 sort of universe that would be like the original Last of Us multiplayer. So maybe this is sort of an inkling that they are doing things like that with PlayStation exclusives still, and that we could look forward to Last of Us 2 multiplayer as well, maybe sometime soon. But right now, this is Tsushima Legends. It was announced yesterday, and it is coming this fall on the PlayStation 4, and will still be playable on the PlayStation 5. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it so much. This has just been me sharing my excitement. I love Tsushima very much, and I love Sucker Punch very much, and I'm glad to see this kind of quality content coming out of a studio. They've really taken the industry by storm with this game. And thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Feel free to hop in the Discord or subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.